Okay, so yeah, it's been a year since I think I last played I played my last game professionally as a soccer player after 9 years, and the most asked question I got as a pro athlete was, "What are you going to do after you play?" I remember as a rookie, like everybody I met, "What are you going to do after you play?" It's like, can I just enjoy my rookie year? But it's just natural. The lifespan of a professional athlete isn't long. So I'd usually just say I don't know, but what it did is it helped me think about it, and I think about it and I pray about it and try to figure it out. I still don't know what I want to do, but people would always say like, "Oh, you'll be fine. You're a pro athlete." Everybody wants to hire pro athletes, right? And so I had this illusion in my head when I retired that people would find out where I live and they would line up at my door and they would have a bidding war. I'll take Wells for 450. No, I want him for 475, and I would get to pick who I wanted to go work for. And that's definitely not the case. No one has lined up at my door asking me to work for them, and there's been no bidding war whatsoever. It's actually been way, way tougher than I ever thought it would be.
What has that experience been like? What have you been doing this past year?
Yeah, it's been extremely tough. Most professional athletes don't retire on their own terms. I certainly didn't. I had some injuries, family issues, that sort of thing. So I'm 33. I still feel like I can play, and that's tough to kind of wrestle with and come to terms with. So I think the fact that I didn't want to retire is a big part of my struggle. But I've struggled this past year. I've tried to fill the void, so to speak, that soccer was in my life. And if you think about it, ever since I was 8 or 9, every decision I made was around soccer. What I ate, who I hung out with, where I traveled. I mean, literally how much I slept. Every single decision was based on soccer because I love the game, and I knew I wanted to be a pro athlete. So when that's taken from you, it's hard. It's hard to deal with, and so I've been drinking more than I have, and I should preface that with saying I feel like now I'm on the other side of what I was on, and what I was for the better part of a year, 8-9 months, was self-pity. This isn't what I want. What the hell am I doing? What the hell do I do? Who am I? Type thing, And so I was trying to figure out who I was, and I didn't have this soccer in my life, and I just felt lost, And it was a very, very difficult transition. I still have my difficult days. Like it's really, really hard for me to watch soccer. I'll turn it on, on the weekends and watch like 3 minutes and be like, I can't do this, because I want to play, and the demons in my head say you can do it. And, you want to put yourself there. You kick yourself for not doing things the way you think you should have done them, sort of thing. So I've got a great family. I've got 2 beautiful kids and a loving wife, and so I'm getting past that. And so I long to use my pain to help other pro athletes and to help them transition and to kind of stay connected in the game that way.
What kind of things are offered currently to professional athletes in terms of support or that transition period? And also, what kinds of things do you think you personally could do to kind of help others out?
Yeah, well, there's a huge need for it. The hard part is convincing pro athletes that they need the transition for life after sport while they're playing. I think most people operate under the belief that if they don't solely focus on soccer, that their performance will suffer. And I believe that that's a lie. I believe that if you have balance in your life, that you have interests and passions outside of soccer that you pursue while you're playing, that will only increase your performance on the game. The MLS Players Union, they offer things for athletes, and they have a program, and they've actually really tried to turn the notch up in terms of their support for athletes. They've hired a couple guys, Mike Lucido and Ty Harden, to come in and kind of spearhead that operation. But it's difficult. It's difficult to gain traction because these pros they're living their dream, and as we were talking about earlier, you don't know what you don't know, right? So you don't know what it's like to be retired or to be wishing that you were still playing, but you can't do it until you're there. So that's the difficult part. I think a lot of it has to come from former pros, guys that have been there and experienced this pain, coming together and spearheading something together. It's got to be community. It's got to be a huge effort from a lot of people. It can't just be a couple guys going around saying, "Hey, we'll help you transition to life after sport," because people have done that, and there hasn't been too much success.
Now that you've kind of seen both sides of it, looking back, hindsight is 2020. But what What would you personally have done differently?
Oh my God, a million things, man. Holy cow. I wouldn't have like, when my friends used to call me and be like, I know you're so busy, man. And be like, I'm not busy, you know? Like, obviously rest is a part of being a pro athlete and you need to rest, you need to take care of your body. I still don't know what I want to do, but I would have figured out what I wanted to do, right? Whether that's get an internship, whether that's like to take some more classes, right? Get another degree. I was fortunate enough to graduate from Wake Forest, but go back to school and do something else. You know, a lot of things, because soccer has been my whole focus my whole life. A lot of basic things I didn't understand. I'm not good with money. I didn't like balancing a checkbook back then. I didn't know how. And those are like basic things that I need to know how to do as a man in order to take care of myself and my family. You know, simple things like networking. As a pro athlete, everyone wants to talk to you, but when you're not a pro anymore, it's not like that, you know. So I'm understanding now I didn't know how to network. I didn't know how to go somewhere and really capitalize on my platform and my position. I'd probably invest more money instead of spending it. I mean, you know, I had so much free time. I'd go to Walmart and just walk the aisles and I'd, you know, get something that I didn't need. You know what I mean? I felt like I would have been a better pro in terms of being a better student of the game. I probably would have studied the game a little more. That's getting technical, but I felt I was a very good athlete, you know, but I feel like I neglected a little bit of the soccer side of the game for me. You know, we have to come to know who we are in order to kind of find out what we want to do and our why for life and our purpose and why we were created and that sort of thing. And I think that's why I struggled so much after soccer, because I didn't really understand who I was outside of the game, because soccer was all I ever had. You know, so there's a million things. Like you like I started my own business in 2011, Wells Thompson Soccer, to run camps and train kids. But if I started that in 2007 and continue to invest and pour into that, there's no telling what it could be today. And the only reason I started in 2011 is because my dad was like, I mean, he knew my heart. He knew I wanted to use my platform to give back, but I just didn't have the know-how. I didn't have someone coming alongside me saying, this is how you need to do it.
Yeah. Last one, and then we can turn the camera off. You've had these experiences. You have a big heart. What can you do personally now to try to help some of these guys?
Yeah, so me and a buddy of mine, Jonathan Van Horn, have been meeting for the past year, creating content and just talking, right? Brainstorming about how we can use our experiences and what God has given us to help other pro athletes transition to life after sport. Just kind of processing through that. For me, it's been somewhat healing, you know, to kind of understand that what I'm going through, it's a struggle and it's tough, you know, and like the panic attacks I had, like that's serious stuff. It's why you see pro athletes kill themselves. They don't know who they are after the sport, and they have all this attention, and there's a myriad of problems, right? A myriad of things that you go through. So we just wanted to use, I wanted to use my pain to help other people. And so what we're trying to do is just kind of get the conversation started, right? It's not going to be something that I solve on my own or that me and Jonathan solve on our own. We're trying to get the conversation started. So we're trying to become, we're still learning ourselves and trying to process and putting ideas together about how we can help current players transition to life after sport. But I think the biggest thing is, in order to transition well, you have to do it while you're playing. And the hardest part is making guys realize that they need to do something while they're playing, you know, and that if they do prepare now, that the transition will be smoother, right? The transition is going to be hard no matter what, you know. I mean, it's not, you can't guarantee anyone that it's not going to be hard. So, you know, we met today with a bunch of former pros, Will Hesmer and Jason Gary and Austin DeLuz, and sat in a room for an hour and a half talking about how we can help pro athletes transition to life after sport. One thing I've done since retiring and going through all this stuff is reaching out to a lot of my friends who were pro athletes who are retired now and have their own lives and that sort of thing. And guys that I didn't necessarily keep in touch with after they had left the game, because soccer was my world, whatever, and I stayed in that world. And when they left, I didn't understand, I didn't know, right? So I didn't reach out to them. So I'm really just trying to reconnect with these guys and just say, I'm sorry I didn't reach out. You know, like, how are you doing, man? What's going on? How was your transition? How was your struggle? Because I believe that sharing our experiences and things that we go through will help other people. You know, and I believe the things that we go through aren't just for ourselves, but they're also for other people. And so pretty much every single person I've talked to has struggled. You know, they've been lost, or what do I do? How do I do it? You know, and but eventually they found their way. But I think that's what we want to try to do is not let them go through all that struggle. You know what I mean? Be an influence in their life where they don't have to experience some of the pain and the heartache that we've had to experience. So.
Awesome. I'm good to end on that note unless you got anything else you want to say.
No, man, you're the man.
You hit it all? No!
You're the man. Hey, donate to this guy. Help him out, right? He's the man.
Thanks, Wells.